It is Wednesday, the 19th day of July 2023, the first of the 3 consecutive days of mass action protests organized by the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition. We will be taking at that story, or rather those stories, in a bit, but first, let us take a look at the news highlights this evening. Arrests, gunshots, and normal business paralysis mark Azimio's first of the 3 consecutive days protest. Learning, transport, and businesses disrupted in major cities in today's demonstrations. Malala leads Kakamega residents in a protest to counter Azimio's protests. And we are open to talks, but not on power sharing, Ruto tells Raila. Sami Okello is a sign language interpreter. My name is Joseph KEES. We're also live on YouTube at KUTV Kenya, and you can share with us your feedback on Twitter at KUTV_Kenya and at KEES Joseph Kenya. Now, mild exchanges and road barricades were witnessed in select parts of the country as anti-government protests entered day 1 of the 3 consecutive days. Azimio la Umoja leaders, however, failed to show up for today's protests, despite announcing to convene at the Kamukunji grounds to commandeer the demonstrations. A number of Azimio leaders, led by Embakasi East MP Babu Owino, are reported to have been arrested prior to the demos. The protests are set to continue tomorrow and Friday as per Azimio guidelines. We'll get more from Munene Weru.
Azimio's unwavering pledge to stage demonstrations beginning today was put to test, failing overwhelmingly. The party had announced to convene at the Kamukunji grounds to officially flag off demonstrations in Nairobi. However, for the better part of the day, the historic grounds were deserted, with the principals nowhere to be seen around or anywhere else in the country.
Of withdrawal of security, Azimio confirms that the protests planned for Wednesday, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday this week are on as earlier announced.
Days in advance to today's demonstrations, Azimio la Umoja received stern warnings against staging today's protests, with the prospects of arrest anticipated. Fast forward to today, in a statement released this evening, the party condemns all forms of arbitrary harassment by the government, decrying the arrest of Embakasi East MP Babu Owino, his Kilifi South counterpart Ken Chonga, Kilifi Speaker Teddy Mwambire, and a host of Nairobi MCAs. The party also notes the arrest and possible abduction of Raila's bodyguard Maurice Ogeta and Dennis Onyango, who is also a close confidant of Azimio leader Raila Odinga. These threats have seemingly proved fruitful in compromising the plans for anti-government protests. Security apparatus strategically placed at selected riot hotspots, by far overwhelming demonstrators. However, the job is far from done, as anti-government protests are set to continue till Friday this week. Neneweru, KUTV, Nairobi.
And business persons continue to count losses amid Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition planned 3 days protests. In the central business district here in Nairobi, many businesses remain shut, bringing the usually business city to a halt. Our very own Auma Evans paints for us a picture of a busy city reduced to a ghost town.
On a normal day, Michael Onsare, a matatu operator, makes between 700 and 1,000 shillings per day, just enough to feed his family. Today, the situation is a bit different. A proud father of 3 wakes up at 4 a.m. to keep the wheel of life spinning. He tells me on a good day he would have already made 3 trips. Today, not even a single trip, and he is already a worried man.
Tumehangaika hapa na pale kwa sababu hapa ndio tegemeo letu. Tumekosa. Kama ingekuwa ni watu, hizi gari zote zenye ziko hapa sina watu zingekuwa zimeenda na zimerudi hapa town, na hizi zingekuwa squad ya 3 kwenda Rongai.
Onsare's story stretch well beyond the core. He spoke to many millions of other Kenyans who are feeling the pinch of a demonstration called by Azimio la Umoja One Kenya. From border to transport operator, all have a story. The frustration, the anger at core, it is all here.
Hizi gari zinaenda Kitengela, zingine ziko hapa sina watu wanaingia, mtu mmoja anashuka, mtu mwingine anaingia anashuka. Kwa hivyo hakuna hata waisi. Tumekaa hapa masaa yote kutoka asubuhi mpaka saa hizi.
Kulingana na siku ya kawaida kufikia saa hii na expect ni kuwa na kitu hata kama 500 hivi. Lakini ukiangalia saa hata 500 hakuna. Hata wale wa kuulizia direction hakuna.
There is a general feeling here that the country is falling ever faster, even deeper into extreme poverty and hunger. And as another bleak future takes hold, the mood here tells it all. They are just not ready. And here is a message for President William Ruto and opposition leader Raila Odinga.
Waongee bana, hii mambo ishe. Si unaona, unajua hapa hakuna faida kwa upinzani, hakuna faida kwa serikali. Serikali inapotesha, pinzani inapotesha. Na mimi kama raia napotesha. Sasa ningekuwa nimeenda kazi yangu ningekuwa naingisha. Kama mtu angekuwa anauza majungwa ama nyanya hapa angekuwa naingisha.
On a normal day, Nairobi business districts is usually a beehive of economic activities, from transport to banking all the way. But today the street is basically a ghost town. Economic activities taking a toll hit, and this is the situation here at Nairobi.
At the same time, the 3-day demonstrations that have officially kicked off today have come at a hefty cost of major disruptions on normal day-to-day activities across the country, with the most affected being the day schools already closed, transport sector, businesses, and the medical facilities lacking emergency capabilities. Lynette Maina reports.
The ongoing Azimio fuel demonstrations continue to elicit mixed reactions among Kenyans for its disruptions to the normal day-to-day country's operations, among them being day primary and secondary schools, transport sector, businesses, and the medical centers. A concerned parent in the country's capital, Nairobi, complains of halted learning in day primary and secondary schools in Nairobi and Mombasa counties, following an order issued yesterday by the Ministry of Interior.
Sasa hivi mwenzangu amesema hapa watoto hawajaenda shule. For the first time ever mimi nimeona eti maandamano watoto wanakatazwa wasiende shule. Sasa watoto watakosa kwenda shule Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So Monday waende siku 2 per week. Hiyo sasa ni kazi. Hiyo ni nini? So mimi ile kitu ninasema rais wetu Ruto azikuwe mtu anataka kuoneza kwamba yeye ni rais. Hata kiongozi mzuri ni yule ananyenyekea. Wakae chini waongee, hii shida yenye iko Kenya itulie, tuendelee. Amani ndio tunahitaji.
With the transport sector in key cities facing a major blow as tens of hundreds of Kenyans opting to remain indoors, fearing for their lives in case the demonstrations turns out violent, a section of Kenyans shared their opinions regarding the ongoing protests.
Pande zote iko sawa na inaiunga tu mkono. Angalau ndio pia serikali iweze kutusikiza. Isipokuwa hiyo maandamano hakuna njia nyingine yenye serikali inaweza tusikiza nayo. Ni ngumu kabisa. So maandamano hiyo ndio njia kamili yenye wanaweza tusikiza nayo.
Mimi kwa maoni yangu ningeliomba rais na Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga ni mandugu wasikane pamoja waongee. Kenya ni nchi ya kila mtu. Kwa hivyo hakuna mtu ajibike kifua aseme mimi ni mkubwa kuliko mwingi. Wakuja kwa meza waongee. Kusema kweli sisi tunaumia. Unapoona wakati wa kura pale tunapanga line. Kwa line unapokuwa pale hakuna mtu anakuja na kuambia kama uko na certificate ya 8 ama form 4.
On matters health across the country, especially in Nairobi and Kisumu, medical centers' operations have been disrupted by the injured, from the protests rushed to facilities lacking emergency equipment, while some roads to hospitals being blocked by protesters. A section of protesters in Maradaima took advantage of the demonstrations to break into several shops, looting a couple of goodies before being dispersed by the police and angry business owners who are trying to recover their commodities. The three-day demonstrations engineered by the Azimio la Umoja coalition aim at gaining a listening ear from the government to listen and consider Kenyans' cry of high cost of living, a move that the government has greatly opposed. Lynette Maina, KUTV.
And UDA Secretary General Cleophas Malala has disputed the opposition's anti-government demonstrations in Kakamega County. Malala led a group of residents in a parallel demonstration to counter Azimio protests, and according to this story produced by Joseph Oyomo, the former Kakamega senator told of leaders catalyzing protests in the western region, urging opposition to give the government time to actualize its manifesto to Kenyans.
Mimi nakungoja hapa leo wewe. Aende Mabole, wewe ukuje hapa huko Mabole. Mambo ya kutaka kuharibu tauni yetu Uparanya. Tumeambiwa tuko na maseneta ambao wanakuja hapa kuchochea watu wetu. Seneta wa Nairobi, Edwin, tafadhali wewe ukitaka maandamano enda kaunti yako kule. Wacha kutoroka kaunti yako ukuje kaunti yetu. Seneta wa Vihiga anaitwa Godfrey Osoti. Tafadhali wachana na Kakamega Town. Leo Kakamega Town tujikaze, tuwe watu wa.
And in Nairobi, county businesses in the Central Business District remained closed as law enforcers spent the better part of their day patrolling the town. Mathare and Kibra areas experienced episodes of unrest as anti-riot police tried to tame the protesters. 2 people from Mathare and are nursing gunshot wounds. Let's get more from Yvonne Kemoma.
In Nairobi County, businesses in the Central Business District remained closed as law enforcers spent the better part of their day patrolling the town. Mathare and Kibera areas experienced episodes of unrest as anti-riot police tried to tame the protesters. 2 people from Mathare are nursing gunshot wounds. In Nakuru County, cat and mouse games between protesters and security forces continued throughout the day, with brief moments of calm being experienced. However, soon enough, the demonstrators managed to regroup and press on with their demands. Amidst the chaos, the Nakuru West MP Samuel Arama spotted a gun to disperse protesters who are said to have been trying to destroy public property. In Mombasa, a state of turmoil has once again descended upon the streets as mass action demonstrations took place. Protesters voiced their demands against the prevailing hardships they face as they lit bonfires while blocking major roads in the town. 10 people were arrested as the anti-riot police worked to restore order. In Kisumu, elected representatives including Kisumu Central MP Joshua Odongo and ward representatives from Mulenda and Manyata areas led some of the protesters in expressing their grievances over the challenging living conditions. In Migori, 2 people sustained gunshot injuries during the protests in which they were rushed to the hospital for medical attention.
Nilikuwa kwa nyumba, alafu nilikuwa nataka kutoa chai, niliweka chai kwa gasi. Sasa watoto nilikuwa nayo kwa nyumba. Nimesikia mlango kustuka hivi, giza imejaa kwa nyumba.
Kwamba Ruto anafaa ajue ni kwamba hata yeye Ruto mwenyewe anaongoza maandamano. Kwa sababu gani? Wakati ameleta polisi barabarani, polisi wako pale barabarani na hakuna chochote kinaendelea, inafanya yeye pia inamaanisha na support maandamano. Sasa sisi kama wananchi bado hatujachoka. Tutaendelea mbele mpaka ile mambo ambayo tunataka irekebishwe lazima iwe halali.
Meanwhile, in Kisika county, similar events were witnessed. Protesters in Mwende along Kisii-Kilgoris Road lit fires on the streets, bringing traffic to a standstill at the Kisii-Kilgoris Highway. The protests are expected to continue for 2 more days as the Azimio move continues to elicit more reactions. Yvonne Kemuma, KU TV.
And investors are increasingly getting worried about continued anti-government protests in Kenya amid legal barriers in enforcing new tax measures meant to help the country avoid a sovereign debt default. According to Kenya Private Sector Alliance, that is KEPSA, the private sector in Kenya has been losing at least 3 billion shillings daily due to protests organized by Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition. Our business reporter Edward Nyamo has the details.
The Kenyan financial markets have largely controlled disruption caused by the opposition-led protest, recording gains in contrast with the business sector, which has suffered losses running into billions due to closures. The Nairobi Security Exchange on Wednesday recorded a gain of 10 billion in investors' wealth to shillings 1.783 trillion, having also recorded a 40 billion jump in market capitalization last Friday when the new round of protest began. According to KEPRA, during the area protest that took place on 5 different days between March and May, the market made a net gain of 22 billion in those trading sessions, with the biggest gain of shillings 57 billion recorded on the day of the first protest on March 20. The shillings also weakened by a smaller margin to the dollar by Wednesday afternoon compared to the previous trading sessions. It traded at an average of 141.25 units, having opened at an average of 141.20 units. According to the National Treasury, the full implementation of the painful taxes projected to raise 211 billion in the new revenue are necessary in placing Kenya's public finance on a sustainable footing. The Ruto administration is banking on the full enforcement of the tax measures to narrow the fiscal deficit from an estimated 5.8% of the gross domestic product in the last financial year to a projected 4.4% in the current fiscal year. Edward Nyamo, KUTV.
Right, that story by Edward Nyamo. We'll still have plenty more ahead, still on protests. All right, we're taking a break. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
Brain tumor is an abnormal growth of cells in the brain. It can be cancerous or non-cancerous.
There is no way to prevent the brain tumors. What is important is early diagnosis. Early diagnosis. Unfortunately, in our developing countries, most of our patients are coming very late. So they come when they're already blind. As I told you, one of the early symptoms is difficulty in seeing due to the high pressures in the head.
some of the ways through which you can develop these skills so that we are comfortably fitting into the job.
You have to put yourself in positions where you are uncomfortable in the sense that you are not clear about what to do.
Because I used to work a corporate job before. So when I left, I happened to visit someone's farm around this area. So this project is called Security Breach Detector and Readiness Familiarize. It is meant to be used to detect, detonate explosives.
We'll tackle all the tough issues, discuss all the weird moments, and hopefully share a few laughs along the way.
Kutoka kuwa jamii ya kuhamahama na sasa kujumuisha kilimo katika mitindo yao ya maisha. Kwenye toleo la kaunti ya Narok, hii ni Boresha Kilimo, kwani afya bora ni kilimo bora.
Kwani kilimo ndicho huboresha maisha.
All right, welcome back to Primetime News. Let us take a look at more stories. Now, despite the ongoing demonstrations called by opposition leader Raila Odinga, the government has continued with its normal state duties in their visit to Kericho County to commission water project. President William Ruto and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua denounced ongoing protests and damage to property. They further added that Kenya is a democratic country and its leaders get power from the citizens through elections. President Ruto has hence maintained his position on the need for talks, but not on power sharing. Jacob Okello reports. Opposition's call for nationwide protests was met with confrontation in Kakamega County following a parallel demo to counter the Azimio protests. The anti-Azimio demonstrations was led by UDA Secretary General Cleophas Malala to dwindle anti-government protests in the region. Malala criticized former Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, among other Azimio leaders, calling for protests in the region.
Oparanya, mimi nakungoja hapa leo wewe. Aende Mabole. Wewe ukuje hapa uko Mabole. Mambo ya kutaka kuharibu tauni yetu Oparanya. Sisi tunakungoja. Tumeambiwa tuko na maseneta ambao wanakuja hapa kuchochea watu wetu. Seneta wa Nairobi Edwin Sifuna, tafadhali wewe ukitaka maandamano enda kaunti yako kule. Wacha kutoroka kaunti yako ukuje kaunti yetu. Seneta wa Vihiga anaitwa Godfrey Osoti, tafadhali wachana na Kakamega Town. Leo Kakamega Town tujikaze, tuwe watu wa amani. The former Kakamega senator called on the opposition to give President William Ruto's government time to work on its manifesto to Kenyans. He reiterated that Raila Odinga's quest to incline to the government through mass protest will not succeed. According to Malala, Odinga is using the anti-government protests to push for a handshake. Malala issued a stern warning against vandalism and violence amid demos and called on Kakamega residents to refrain from protests and instead embrace peace. In similar protests, Senator Cheryl Gay of Nandi County yesterday threatened to stage processions at the homes of Odinga and former President Uhuru Kenyatta to express disruption of businesses. Odinga and Kenyatta are considered top players in the fueling of anti-government demos. Cherugay urged Kenyans to embark on their normal duties in disregard to the 3-day protests called by the opposition. Normalcy was experienced in Kakamega amid Azimio protests. All right, that story was produced by Jacob Okello and voiced by yours truly. Now, moving on, President William Ruto has today commissioned the Duka Moja Kimugu water projects in Kericho County. According to Kericho Governor Eric Mutai, the project has costed 1.2 billion shillings. The project was born through a joint partnership between the national and county government of Kericho and is expected to supply 13 million liters of water to the county residents daily. Dorothy Musyoka with more.
Water demand has been rising as population urbanization grows and the needs from agriculture and manufacturing increase. This has seen President William Ruto commission the Dukamoja Kimugu water project in Kericho County as residents have suffered effects of climate change due to destruction of Southwest Mau Forest, which acted as a water catchment area in the region. The water project with a 13-kilometer pipeline is set to produce 13 million liters of water daily, with at least 200,000 households in the three sub-counties of Belgut, Kipkelion East and Ainamoi are set to benefit from the water supply. The government of Kenya, through the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, received funds from the government of Germany through the KfW Development Bank to undertake the water supply and sanitation development program for the towns of Kericho. On his first days in office, President William Ruto, in his visit to Kericho and Bomet counties, had promised that the national government will work with the county government of the two counties to build and repair roads, erect water projects, improve the healthcare sector, and supply power to the rural areas at an affordable price. The Dukamoja Kimugu water project will ease the perennial water shortage in Kericho town and trading centers within the region. Dorothy Mosioka, KU TV.
And on sports, Commonwealth 100 meters champion and fastest man in Africa, Ferdinand Omanyala, will face off with and National Olympic Committee of Kenya has vowed to continue with 2026 Commonwealth Games preparations despite the host nation putting the future of Commonwealth Games in doubt despite the setback. NOC Kenya Secretary General Francis Mutuku is optimistic that Commonwealth Games Federation will find alternative solutions so that the Games may proceed as planned and put the doubt to rest. Victoria State backed out of hosting the Games, citing financial blowouts that would have forced organizers to dig deeper in their pockets. Right, that brings us to the end of our broadcast tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Our sign language interpreter has been Sami Okelo. My name is Joseph KEES. Until we meet again another day, enjoy the rest of your week and have a good night.